What's up, Bourbon Hawks? Today I'm happy to be bringing you guys a Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta review. Keep in mind, as always, that this is a beta, so things are going to change for the final release, but this review is on the current condition of things in the beta. To start off with, I like to get into the game modes. One of the featured game modes in the beta is Galactic Assault, which is the new, large 20v20 game mode in Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's pretty much a combination of Supremacy, Walker Assault, and Turning Point from the first game. Overall, the game mode feels fairly balanced, with quite a few objectives and phases to go through. Starting off with the MTT approaching the palace doors. You have to go through a couple of different rounds of having to grab the ion disruptors to weaken the MTT before it gets to the doors. After that, it goes into the palace phase, where you have to disable east and west doors, and after that it goes into the throne room. Overall, the game mode feels very entertaining and engaging and keeps you on the edge of your seat. The next mode I like to talk about is Starfighter Assault. Starfighter Assault introduces major improvements from Fighter Squadron in the first game. It really is what Fighter Squadron should have been. Fighter Squadron really got stale after a while because all it was just dogfights. But in Starfighter Assault, there are multiple objectives that keep you engaged. With AI controlled ships, a lot of obstacles to fly around, and like stationary turrets, Imperial cruisers coming through, Corvette blockade runners coming through. It is a very engaging game mode, and the flight overall helps out a lot. It gives the player complete control over his or her ship with manual rolls and pitching up and down, and just it is a really good overhaul. I feel like it feels very nice to fly, and it's very satisfying to dodge missiles and outmaneuver other players. And really, Starfighter Assault, it feels like a space battleship with everything that's going on. It's very action-packed. The next mode I like to talk about is Strike. Strike is the 8v8 mode featured in the Star Wars Battlefront beta. It is set on the Takodana map from Star Wars The Force Awakens. You get to play as the First Order or as the Resistance. Overall, I feel like the mode might last a little bit too long for the size of the mode. I think it'd be more fitting to have maybe only 75 tickets / soldier count instead of 100. For a smaller mode, I feel like it's something that I'd like to drop into and get out of quicker. A little bit more shorter, more action, faster paced kind of game mode. But I think it's a fun mode, and the full release should only have a few modes compared to the first game, where it had quite a few game modes and it really split the player base up. So I think this will be a nice mode to play and get away from some of that larger action-packed game mode if you want to do that. Moving on to the menu and the UI. Overall, the UI looks very clean. I love the hologram theme that they're going with here. I think that compared to the first game seemed a little too clean, a little too simplistic. But this UI is I think a big improvement compared to the first one. It is very nice looking. Everything's pretty easy to follow and whatnot. Some of the big controversy over this game is the loot crate system. We are getting free DLC, so they're putting in microtransactions in the form of loot crates. If it remains the same in the final release, I can't see it being a problem. The crates don't seem too expensive to buy with credits. I'm not sure what the crystal, or whatever you want to call it, the currency that you'd be able to purchase with real money. I'm not sure the conversion rate, what it would be, but I can't imagine it being anything too expensive or anything like that. And I don't feel like the loot crates are going to cause too much of a pay-to-win scenario. Overall, most of the stuff I've gotten from loot crates are pretty bad, and yeah, so I don't think it'd be that much of a problem. The only problem I see is the very rare amount of spare parts or crafting parts I've been able to obtain. I don't think there's a function in the beta to actually dismantle your leftover star cards, but that will be a function or a feature in the full release. So I'm not sure what kind of spare part or crafting part amounts you're going to be receiving when the actual game launches. But that's the only problem I see at the moment, is I haven't been able to come across that many crafting parts or spare parts to upgrade my cards or buy new weapons or whatnot. I think the star card system is great. The new star card system works really well. I love how you can upgrade your cards. There's 4 different tier of cards. You have your common, uncommon, rare, and epic. I think they got rid of the legendary card, which would be the tier of card only obtainable from the crates. Every tier of card is able to be obtained from upgrades, so there will be a little bit of a grind. I think that the whole star card system and class system, you have separate levels for each class, separate levels for each hero, each ship. It offers a lot of player progression and a lot of challenges for each of those progressions. Able to claim rewards for completing challenges, for playing a class for a certain amount of time, getting a certain amount of kills with the class. I think it's going to add a lot of replayability and a lot of different ways to play the game, which is where the first game was lacking. It wasn't very deep. It was very, very simple, and I think that this game is going to be doing a great job of offering a lot of deep and different ways to play the game. Also interested in how they're going to be introducing HUT contracts and the quests slash missions that they be talking about, because I do believe that those will be returning to this game. And finally, some other takeaways from playing the beta. Time to kill seems fairly high overall. I'd like to see what it feels like with maybe 1 or 2 less hits or hit markers to receive a kill, especially for the Assault. This Assault, it is obviously the most well-rounded of classes, but it still feels a little too slow. Specialist is very strong right now. I feel like Officer is a nice way to play, a good support class, and Heavy is also a good class also, and I feel like is the most popular of classes. The squad system seems cool at first, but I think that after a while it's going to be something that's overlooked slash ignored. One of the problems that I found with the squad system, in Starfighter Assault it puts a little yellow person icon by their name, and Galactic Assault there's nothing. So unless you remember the name and follow that person around, there's no way to remember who your squad mates are, so you can't get your bonus score. So I think that's one thing that needs to be worked on. I also think that they should introduce other ways to engage with your squad and to offer squad engagements, whether that be through objective markers. Like in the first game you could press E on objective and it'll tell you how many people are going there, or just different rewards, maybe just like a spotting system just for the squad, so you could press Q or something like in Battlefield and quick spot an enemy, and then say if your squad mate gets the kill, you get bonus score that way. And it could be like a squad spotting only system where only people in your squad can see the spot or something like that. I don't know, just different ways for squad mates to engage with one another and to influence more squad play. Because I think that for the most part, if you're playing with friends, that squads will kind of get overlooked and just be ignored. At the moment, squads, they seem to kind of introduce a little bit of like an inconsistent gameplay. There's not much player control to it. You have a 10-second respawn in Galactic Assault, and you could sit through all those 10 seconds and be the only one in the squad, or you could die and respawn and get put in a squad that's respawning in 1 second. So it's very inconsistent, and there's no player control, which personally I don't mind, but a lot of other people do. So I'm not so sure what they could do about that. If we're looking at some of the reinforcements, the Flame Trooper seems very weak right now. His effective range only seems to be about 2 or 3 meters. I think that would definitely be something that needs to see a buff. His time to kill is also very high. The Resistance Jump Trooper seems to be the most powerful out of all the Jump Troopers. She gets that bump stock rifle instead of like a pistol or something like that, and it's like a 2 or 3 shot. It's a very powerful rifle, so I'm not sure what their intention is with the Jump Troopers, if they're all supposed to have the same weapons or whatnot, but she definitely feels like the most powerful of the Jump Troopers. I think I really like how the battle point system works and how the reinforcement works. Clone Troopers, compared to the droids, the reinforcements seem a little bit weaker. I know there's talks that maybe the Wookiee warriors are just placeholders for now, and they're working on ARC Troopers and something like that. But I feel like the Super Battle Droids, the Jump Pack Droid, and just the B2 Super Battle Droid seem a lot more powerful than the Republic reinforcements. I also really like how the heroes work as reinforcements. I think it's perfect. They're not too powerful, but they're not too weak. It really it feels nice. It feels right. I think the way they did heroes is really well done. player skill also seems much more important with gunplay, strategy, in terms of picking your class, what kind of star cards you want to have in your class, dog fights, player control over the Starfighter. I think that all those things are going to add a lot of longevity to this game compared to the first one. People are going to be playing this game with so many different things to do, and so many different ways to play. Really show and see yourself improve as a player with all the different gunplay and strategy, and really learn how to fly a ship even. I mean, it's going to add a lot of longevity to this game, and I think that's good for the game. On top of all the free DLC, not splitting the player base and all that stuff, I think that overall this beta shows a lot of promise for the final release, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. So I want to hear what you guys think about the beta so far. I want to hear if you're excited for the final release of the game. I want to hear what you guys think that they might need to change. As always, be sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitch and Twitter to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bourbahawks, peace.
We are the Hawks, the mighty Bourbahawks, the Bourbahawks. We soar through the sky with our mighty beaks, our beaks. We penetrate the enemy with our beaks. We are the fearless, the brave, the honorable Bourbahawks. Raka, 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 ka, ka, ka.